Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about the Hunger Game, which is most dieters' favorite game to play when they want to try and lose weight. And it basically goes like this, that you're going to see how hungry you can keep yourself in order to lose weight quickly. And you restrict, you feel starving, you feel frustrated, annoyed, in a bad mood, and all you're doing is thinking about food. And you try and see, how long can I do this for until I finally break and eat everything in sight? Now, when I put it this way, I hope it sounds like a bad strategy, because that's my point. It's a terrible strategy. You're never going to win against your hunger. Not for long. You might for a little while be able to fight against it and lose a little bit of weight for a little while. But your hunger is always going to win. It always has won, and it's always going to continue to. So the answer is not to fight against your hunger, because when you are really, really hungry, by the way, you have to understand that your entire physical being changes, from your biochemistry to your cellular function to all of your sense organs to your mindset. Everything gets fixated on food and getting you to eat. So the idea that you're going to fight against every part of your being for long is silly. It's never worked, and it's never going to. And so what we have to do instead is manage your hunger. You are never going to be able to keep yourself in a peak hunger state when you're starving and make good food choices. It's just never going to happen. And it doesn't have to. This is the old way of thinking about weight loss. This is the diet mindset of how you have to lose weight. And at this moment in time, 75% of the American adult population is overweight or obese. So I would say that dieting has conclusively been a failure. So I would suggest, if you want to lose weight, that it may make a lot of sense to use a different strategy. And so instead of fighting against your hunger, you start to manage it strategically. And what managing your hunger strategically looks like is you start to eat foods that are less calorie dense. Now, for a shortcut, this is usually fruits, vegetables, greens, beans, whole grains. Natural foods pretty much are low density calorie foods. And the interesting thing is, when you start to eat more of these foods, you feel full, you feel satisfied, and yet you've reduced your calorie consumption. This is how you lose weight comfortably for the long term, because now you're not fighting against your hunger, you're managing it strategically. And when you manage your hunger strategically, you set yourself up for long-term success, because you're no longer fighting against yourself 24 hours a day. And so in this way, it becomes a much more enlightened and effective strategy than trying to fight against yourself and starve yourself so that you can lose weight. You've got to let go of that if you do care about your weight. So I hope this resonates with you. If you want some more support in thinking this way, click the link in my bio or go to Program Yourself Thin and get the hypnosis session. It's called The New Thin Me. It's free, and it will help you to not only manage your hunger, but have a real genuine approach to mastering your weight once and for all. So I hope you check that out. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. Xazu says, a chicken with kimchi first, then carbs and good fats after. Yeah, that sounds like a great strategy. So again, I mean, if we start focusing on managing our hunger, the entire game changes. You know, this idea that you are going to fight against your body is so short-sighted. It's one of those things, you know, it's like, it's so fucking obvious, but it's so obvious we've become blind to it. Isn't that the weird thing? The big lie theory, you know? So he says, I love your content so much. Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, you're welcome. That's what I'm here for. Fighting a good fight. Fighting a good fight against the corporate beings that run the world. What's up, Jennifer? Jennifer says, hungry to hangry is real. Yeah, learning to listen to your body is very hard and likely a lifetime learning process. Yeah, agreed. But it is a learning process. There's no doubt. But like most learning processes, most of the time you get rapid gains in the first part. So great. And to just start listening to your body is really, for most people, just a profound new idea. And just right away, you'll start to make some big gains. Now, agreed that yes, you can keep at this for a while. I'm at it for 30 years. I'm still listening to my body. I'm still evolving and growing and all that. Now, some people freak out about that, but to me, that's also a source of an ongoing path I'm walking. So I like that too. But yes, true story. It does take a little while. But when you do listen to your body, I think you set yourself up to have a much more grounded, effective approach to, again, not just losing weight, but to living at your goal weight. But yes, hungry to hangry, and even hangry is just really underestimating what's going on. Again, I can't explain this enough. When you just the sense organs in your body, when you start to get hungry, the cells of your body start screaming out for nutrition. Let's just put it that way. And what ends up happening is visually you get fixated on food. So if there's food anywhere in your visual sight, you zoom right in on it. Okay. And that makes you more focused on it. If you hear crackling of a chip bag, you can hear it, like just you're extra tuned into it. You can smell things at a higher level. All your senses are heightened more for food cues. And so I don't think people realize this, and on top of that, your magical willpower that you're all relying on, which most people don't even understand what willpower is. Willpower is a physical thing. And so just like it would be like saying, I'm going to run a marathon. And, the secret to running a marathon is to be really light. And so I'm going to stop eating because I'll be lighter and then I'll be able to run the marathon more effectively. Does that make sense? Because that wouldn't be a good strategy because you'd be depriving your muscles of the energy they need to run the marathon. Well, guess what? Your willpower is a prefrontal cortex process that requires calories and energy to function and run. So a lot of you dieters, you're starving yourself of calories and you're choking off the energy to your willpower muscle, metaphorically. Your prefrontal cortex, where your willpower comes from, is the most energy intensive part of your brain. So as soon as you stop eating and you restrict the energy going into your body, it's one of the first things that suffers. So again, goofy strategy. It says you always look slim, healthy, and glowing. Very inspiring too. Well, thank you. Yeah. I'm pretty good shape. Not gonna lie. I'm in pretty good shape. And it pays off, and I'm getting in better shape. I'm so excited. Again, that there's dips in what's the other word? Improvements. So I've been, and there's big dips and improvements, and there's, acute kind of moment to moment ones. And so, my shoulder, which has been hurting for literally going on 5 years, I finally got fixed in October, and it is just finally, it's starting to like really feel good. And so I started with the push-ups, and so I'm starting to feel stronger, and that's lets me kind of kick into my next gear of really my health and happiness, which is more resistance training and that type of stuff. And I've been doing more yoga. It's exciting. And so, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like it's been a dip physically overall in some ways, but I ride them out, maintain the other stuff. But now it starts to come up, and now it's really exciting for me. And I'm looking forward to the warm weather and being able to do that stuff. So anyways, how's TikTok doing over here? Oh, there's Katie. What's up, Katie? Let's see. Peaks and valleys. Yes. Peaks and valleys. Exactly. But even peaks, like I'm looking for a word, because I think like even peak, right? It kind of, it has this impression that it's like a tippy top thing, and, I think I want to think of like something like that's more ongoing. You know what I mean? Because I think there is sometimes like my shoulder. I can look back now on my shoulder and I could say, okay, well, shit, it was 5 years, and so it was a dip. Now it didn't keep dipping down. You know what I mean? Like it kind of just was a dip, and then I lived in this dip for a while. So I don't want to say the word depression, but there was like a lower level of living. Now I feel myself kind of coming back up, and now it won't necessarily be a peak. What the hell? TikTok is crazy. So it's not necessarily like a peak, but it's going to be like this increased level of living. Yeah, ebbs and flows. Yeah, kind of. But like longer term ones. And I don't even know the phrase. That's kind of interesting. I'll have to spend some time thinking about that because I think that's a lot of life. And I think it's a good way to think about that. I think we tend to, it's almost that all or nothing thinking with the dieting, thinks of like, these crashes and then these peaks. And I think that that's like acute, right? So there's acute things that happen to us, no doubt. But I think a lot of our lives also happens in a more chronic way. And there's chronic dips, depressions, and then chronic improvements, if that makes sense. But I think that's an important way to be able to think about things and manage things. Cause I think when I look at my life, I see a lot of that. I see times when I kind of dipped down and went to here. And then I see times when I kind of went back up and now I'm existing up here. And I think it's just a concept that, again, I don't have words for it, but thinking, yeah, roses and thorns. Sure. Yeah. Good and bad, sweet and sour, all that stuff, but again, I'm always looking at this here. And that's how I think of my improvements. Even like when I think doing more resistance training, like it's a slow improvement. And I'm in no rush. I'm starting with push-ups. I started 2 weeks ago, and I was doing 6 of them a day, 6 push-ups. Right. Now you gotta understand, I haven't done push-ups. I did push-ups 2 years ago. I started getting into it, and then it tweaked my shoulder even more and it hurt and I stopped. And so everything got weaker. And that's really what finally got me to go fix it for sure. But now I'm starting at a weak spot. And so I'm slowly building it up. And so literally I will do it with the push-ups, and I will add 1 each week, but I did this before and I got up to like 38. And that's when I tweaked the shoulder again. But this time here, again, that was the initial phases of that. And then I will hit the gym more, start doing some resistance stuff. But anyways, enough about me. If you all have any questions about weight loss, feel free to ask them. I'm happy to give you some insights from my perspective and point of view. Haley says, how do you feel about intermittent fasting? I feel fine about it. It's just a tactic. Intermittent fasting by itself is not going to fix your weight for you. It's just a tactic. I believe you need multiple tactics. I think you need a comprehensive, holistic system to master your weight. And so I use my version of intermittent fasting. I use a version of it. Now I say a version of it because I know people get really strict with their definitions of things. And if it's not 16 hours, then it doesn't count. But nothing magical is happening those last 2 hours for your weight loss. It's bullshit. What it is it's just a strategy. It's just a tactic to get you to compress your eating window in hopes that that'll cause your overall calorie consumption to go down. So there's nothing magical about it. Now, I do think it's a pleasant way of being. Now I started intermittent fasting over 30 years ago before it was intermittent fasting. And what I started to do is I wanted to stop eating at night. I used to eat right up to my bedtime. And so I started creating a bigger and bigger window between when I went to bed and when I stopped eating. And I went into it with a completely different mindset. I was not doing it. I was doing it to lose weight because I want to stop eating at night, but there was no intermittent fasting. So I didn't jump into it being like, okay, I got to do 16 hours and put all this pressure on myself. I started, I ate an hour. I stopped eating an hour earlier, 2 hours earlier. You know what I mean? It was gradual. And I ended up somewhere, I usually stop eating somewhere in the ballpark of 6, 7 o'clock at night. And then I eat the next day, 7, 8 o'clock. So I'm right around 13 hours or so. And so that works for me. But the point I'm trying to make is that I built it around me. And I think a lot of people that have been fasting, again, they jump into it just like a regular diet, started on a Monday, jump right into 16 hours. And I think that they stress themselves out and it doesn't work. And again, intermittent fasting, I call it nighttime fasting is the word I use for what I do. But that is just one little tactic out of a whole stable of them that I use. And so intermittent fasting without changing your mindset, without changing your lifestyle, without changing your eating strategies and structures, yeah, I doubt it's going to work for you for long. So that's my thoughts on it. What's up, Heather? Yeah, lower and higher frequency. Yeah, I would say frequency, and then whatever you call it when you're existing on that higher frequency longer term. Yeah. But yeah, intermittent fasting, again, is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's, and I like it. Like I said, I do it, but I just think that like most diets are sold as this miraculous cure. That's always the diet marketing is always built around the one thing philosophy that, they know dieters are exhausted and frustrated and apathetic. So every diet has to seem really easy. And the way they make it seem easy is to break it down to one thing. Notice this, right? Every diet is one thing. Ketos, no carbs. Intermittent fastings, just don't eat for 16 hours. Weight Watchers, just track your points. You know what I mean? Like, it's always one thing. And it's never one thing. That, again, that's part of the dieting bullshit that keeps you trapped. Is, again, they've conditioned you to just look for hacks. One thing, one fucking, herb from the Himalayas, one, berry from the Amazon rainforest. It's always one thing that's going to fix it. One injection a month, one injection a week. That's not going to be enough. You again, and I don't know, like it's felt good. I'm no longer, weight mastery is fucking hard. So if you're lazy and don't want to commit to it, then just scoot along. I'm not talking to you. I'm really just here. It felt so good because last year I was like, okay, I'll just sell my hypnosis program separately. I'm like, people, maybe they can't invest the full money. I'm going to help them out. And what I find is that without exception, the people that are really committed always find a way to invest. And the people that just want to, try things and not really commit never get results no matter what. And so it was very freeing for me. So I stopped selling the hypnosis program on its own. I got to take that down. So it is still for sale. Don't buy it. If you hear this, do not buy it. And so, so I just sell the full program. But, that's the point, is that I think part of the dieting philosophy is that you're always looking for hacks. You're never really investing in yourself. Most people, you're investing in miracle cures, perhaps. So I'm not saying you haven't pissed away a lot of money, but you haven't even had the opportunity to invest in weight mastery college, let's just say, where you get to have a complete holistic system that helps you change your mindset, your lifestyle, and your eating so that you not only lose weight, but are able to live at it for the rest of your life on your autopilot. You've never even heard that phrasing before, and so anyways, you've been conditioned to just chase little hacks and quick fixes. Dieting is get rich quick schemes. Diets are get rich, get them quick schemes, and they're just as effective. But that's the only thing you ever get to see when it comes to weight loss. You never really get a real plan to actually master your weight. And at this point, most dieters don't want to, because your whole life you've been marketed to think of weight loss as a hack, something temporary you're going to do to lose the weight. So you never even think about living at your goal weight anyways. But it has conditioned you to look just for quick fixes. So you don't think about when it comes to really mastering your weight, mastering your health and happiness, you have a hard time thinking about it as something you would commit to and learn and grow and evolve and really practice. These words, you never think in these terms, but I think they're necessary if you're really going to get results. Jennifer said, when I got home from vacation, it was a lot easier to tell myself that I'm going to refocus on cleaner eating than staying back on a diet. It feels much more palatable and open-ended. Yeah, of course, right? Jen's in the program. So again, once you understand this, like, program yourself thin is a philosophy. It's a holistic system as well. But it's a complete way of thinking, way of living and eating built around you. So it does take work to learn it and figure it out for yourself. But once you have that, you've done that work. You did the work. Does that make sense? I mean, at work, whatever job you do, the first months there took a lot of energy because you're understanding the politics of the place, the job, what your responsibilities are, how to do them, all the rest of it. But what happens is after a while, you start to internalize a lot of that, and then you're able to do it pretty easily. Right? So it's the same thing here. If you invest the time and the energy to actually learn how to live at your goal weight for the rest of your life, you've got that for the rest of your life, and you keep refining and optimizing it for sure. But a lot of the hard work is just the beginning part. But once you have that information, you just build on it and optimize it, and it gets easier. And yeah, you can go away on vacation and then come back and get right back on track. That's always like a good example of someone in the Program Yourself Thin program is when they get back from vacation. So I can't wait to get back to my regular routine. Yeah, because you like your routine. I've been at the same weight. I lost 50 pounds 30 years ago, and I've been the same weight for 30 years. I won blip 12 years ago. And I love living this way. I haven't dieted once, and I don't work out. I've mastered my eating, my lifestyle, my mindset, so that the things I naturally do, how I think, how I live, how I eat naturally, now keeps me at my goal weight. And you can do that, but you don't know about that because you're just surrounded by diets. What's up, Joy? Joy says, is one meal a day safe and productive? I mean, is it safe? It depends what the meal is, I suppose. But certainly a person could eat one meal a day and be safe if it was the proper meal. I think for most people, it's not going to be effective. So, again, it's just dieters are just so desperate and so gullible because of that they'll do extreme goofy shit that they're not going to be able to keep up. But they don't give a shit. They just want to lose the weight. Dieters are the most short-sighted people on the planet. Again, if you're a dieter, you have to think of yourself as a get-rich-quick schemer. That's the best way to think about it. And you're going to get the same types of results, and you're going to feel frustrated and annoyed. And the irony is that you're going to take more action than's even necessary. It is harder to lose weight than it is to master your weight. That's the irony of the whole thing. As a dieter, you're going to piss away more energy than you would if you just mastered it. If you just fucking did the work and mastered it one time. So yeah, the idea, again, Joy, I don't know your situation, but if you're the average dieter who's eating 3,500 calories a day, eating 3 meals a day and then grazing in between most of them every day, and now you're thinking, maybe I'm going to do 1 meal a day. I heard about that. I'm going to do some OMAD. I heard a podcast about it. It was by a doctor. Yeah, okay, you're going to go from eating fucking 7 times a day to 1 meal a day? No, you're not. Not for long. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because it just doesn't make any sense. You're going to have as much success eating 1 meal a day as you did counting your points on Weight Watchers, as you did trying to do keto. So, I don't know. Dieters, I think maybe the dieting gives you short-term memory loss or something, because dieters for some reason just keep forgetting all the previous times they dieted and what the results were. I don't know why. Don't you find that true? I don't know. I'm not trying to be negative here, folks, but I'm just saying, like, am I saying anything crazy? Renew says, yeah, it's so true. The one herb from the Himalayas, right? I mean, it's just, listen, I'm in the world of marketing. I'm a bad marketer. I'll be the first to admit that. But I understand the world of marketing, and especially diet marketing. I've studied this extensively. Like it's crazy. And I understand psychology and marketing. But yeah, the diet industry is not your friend. Everything you know about weight loss was put there by food companies. Like literally, Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz. Jenny Craig was owned by Nestle. Slim Fast is owned by the same company owns Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Atkins Food Products owned by the same company owns Auntie Anne's pretzels and Cinnabon. Do you really think these companies want to teach you how to eat less of their foods ultimately? I don't think they do. And so I think they're just filling your head with rocks. Again, dieters have no clue what they're even doing. Prove me wrong. List a couple things. What's the last way you tried to lose weight? What's the last thing you tried to do lose weight? What do we think we're going to see? Keto, counting calories, intermittent fasting. What are we going to see? What have you all done? Don't be embarrassed. I'm here to help you. I really am. I know I sound negative, but you need some negativity in your life. That not negativity in general, but negativity about diets, like which you're probably already negative about. But I just want to put the nail in the coffin. Your intuitions are right. Oh, so that's a new one. Yeah, Renew says green coffee bean extract. Lost and gained more back as soon as I stopped. Yeah. Green coffee bean extract. Yeah, there's no extra thing you're going to add into your life that's just going to make you thin. I mean, GLP-1 is the only exception pretty much. That's about it. And that's got its own things with it too. which we will start. We're right about there. We are right about there to get to the negative stuff about the GLP-1s. It's going to take about 12 months to a year and a half from the time they started last January is when they really started kicking off. And so we're approaching it right around June. You're going to start seeing all your friends that lost weight on GLP-1s get real upset that they're not losing weight anymore. And then they're going to have to decide, do I want to stay on this medicine for the rest of my life? I'm not at my goal weight and I'm not losing any more weight. So get ready, folks. That's what's coming with the GLP-1 hormones. So any of you that haven't got on it and you're kind of feeling away, a little fucking irritated that all your friends have lost weight on it, well, get ready. Because in another 6 months or so, they're going to stop losing weight. And then they're going to have to keep paying this money to stay at the same weight. So yeah, user 275 says counting calories. Yeah, that's what I mean. Counting calories, intermittent fasting, keto. I mean, whatever, green coffee beans, whatever. It doesn't matter. The point I'm trying to make is this, that regardless, it doesn't matter which diet you're doing. It doesn't matter. You could tell me Mediterranean diet, which is probably the healthiest diet. The problem is the concept of dieting. And what dieting means to your subconscious mind is that I'm going to do this temporarily. I'm going to diet until I lose the weight. So again, dieting is a short-term mindset. You've been brainwashed by the food industry because the diets are all owned by the food industry. You've been brainwashed by the diet industry, the food industry, to think about weight loss as a temporary thing. And so all of you have lost weight on whatever diet you decided to do, but none of you have kept it off. And this comes down to the core problem with diets, that you think about them temporarily. This is why I say that the big difference between losing weight and dieting and Program Yourself Thin is the goal. The goal for dieting and the goal about losing weight is to get to your goal weight. The goal for Program Yourself Thin is to live at your goal weight for the rest of your life on near autopilot. If you don't think those goals are completely different and two worlds apart, then just keep scrolling, because there's nothing else I can tell you. You have been obsessively focused because you've been trained to obsessively focus on losing weight and getting to your goal weight. And then what? What happens then? You put the weight back on. 95% of dieters that lose weight on a diet put the weight back on. Paula did intense workouts. Oh my God. The intense workouts is the worst way, because it doesn't work and it's fucking miserable, and they're all unsustainable, but really intense workouts are the most unsustainable pretty much, so you're not alone, folks. And it's really not your fault in the sense that you don't know any better. You really don't. I don't know, Jim, I study weight loss for 50 years. I listen to podcasts every day. Well, what are your results? That's the real deciding factor. If you're not at your goal weight, if you're struggling to stay there, then you don't have it figured out. You don't know what you're doing, and you need to learn a new way, which is why I'm here every single weekday at noon to help you all out, because this is a mission for me. For me to help you with your weight has a lot more to do with your quality of life and how long you're going to live. Why does that matter to me? Because my dad died at 54 of a heart attack. That's as simple as that. And so I am dramatically motivated to help other people with this beyond any understanding why. So I will tell you that people in my life have consistently said, and I agree with them. They said, geez, Jim, you could do so many other things. Why the weight? Why the weight? Why are you making life hard for yourself? He said, well, hard for yourself. Weight loss is a $70 billion industry. Yeah, weight loss is. Actually educating and teaching people about weight mastery, and actually the real goal is to live at your goal weight, takes tons and tons of work, because people think about weight loss like dieters. So again, I could pop out a diet and life would be way easier, because that's what you're conditioned to think about. But when it comes to weight mastery, that word doesn't mean anything to you. The idea of living at your goal weight is just like, yeah, fuck that. I'll figure it out when I get there. So it's like you're so conditioned at such a deep level to think about weight loss completely wrong. And this is why the mindset piece of your weight is the most important piece. And you'd have to tell me, what diet do you know of? What resource do you even know about in the world that is going to teach you how to improve your mindset so that you can live at your goal weight? I'll wait. And I know none of you are going to be able to say anything because there's no mindset resources out there. There's a couple of us, I know a couple of people you're going to say, but there's no Weight Watchers equivalent mindset weight loss person, And I think this is intentional. Again, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but you got to look at the amount of money that's created from people over consuming food, spending money on diets, trying to lose that weight. And then the money that the medical industry makes off of people that are struggling with medical issues because of their weight and their inability to change it. It's literally one of the biggest drivers of the economy. So, you're constantly being conditioned to overeat and have no ability to change it. And then you live your whole life being overweight, which isn't even the worst part. The worst part is that you beat yourself down and your quality of life suffers tremendously. Not even just your physical health quality of life. I'm talking about your mindset and your emotional quality of life. Most dieters live in a constant state of self-flagellation where they're constantly beating themselves up for not losing the weight. When in reality, you don't even know how to lose the weight. And you think you do. That's the biggest lie you're telling yourself. It's the biggest lie the diet industry is telling you. This idea that you know everything to do, you just got to get yourself to do it, is the biggest bunch of bullshit ever. You have no fucking clue how to keep the weight off. You have no idea how to change your behaviors long-term. You don't even probably know what to eat. You have a vague idea, and again, it's because you've been conditioned, A, to overeat and overconsume, and then B, to think like a dieter to try and respond to it. And it's not working. And it's not working for you, and it's not working for anyone. 75% of the population of American adults is overweight or obese. So, and what was I reading yesterday? Oh my God, what was it? Oh man, I forget the increase. The increase, and because I saw it from like the 50s. Excuse me. From the 50s till now, I forget the number fold increase in overweight and obesity it's been, but it's crazy. But what I'm trying to say is it's not genetics. Do you know what I mean? I know a lot of people want to hide in that little, excuse, but it's not your genetics. That's not the reason you're overweight. It's a factor, but it's not the reason. And so, thanks, Katie. So, yeah, but I think that's important to know too, But anyways, so if anyone's got any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm going to get out of here. And there are no dumb questions. Not really. I mean, there kind of are, but they're not dumb if you don't know they're dumb. What I will say is if you are new in my world and you want to kind of approach this differently, click the link in my bio, go get the hypnosis session, and watch the video I made. Although I am making a new video and I can't wait. And I'm going to start putting more longer form videos up on my YouTube channel. So I'm excited about that too. But again, I am here to help you. So go get that hypnosis session. Glad you said you say everything I want to hear. And the best part is that I know you are not lying. Yes. Agreed. I think that is something that makes me unique in the weight loss world, is that I really do take the no bullshit oath. And I think the biggest thing that makes me different in the weight loss world is that everything I'm teaching you are things that I've learned from people who have successfully lost weight and kept it off. Everything you're learning about weight loss is from people that have lost weight and put it right back on. I think that's the biggest difference in a nutshell. So, Hazard says, is it possible to lose weight eating fast food? Yeah, it's absolutely possible. I mean, all weight loss comes down to calorie consumption. So you can absolutely reduce your calories eating fast food and lose weight. Now, in the real world, for most people, eating fast food makes it harder to consume less calories because fast food is literally engineered in ways you can't even imagine. Again, most people think of fast food and junk food being, you still think of it as food. Again, I'll tell you one of the biggest benefits, one of the most beneficial things you could do for yourself, mindset wise, in terms of food, is to start making a distinction between food and food stuff. So we should call it junk food stuff, fast food stuff. That would be very clarifying for your brain, because food and fast food stuff are two completely different things. Food and junk food stuff are two completely different things. And your mind's constantly getting confused because you keep calling it junk food, fast food. It's not food in the traditional sense, not in any way. And I think that's an important distinction to make. Now, can you lose weight eating it? Yeah, absolutely. If you're really, really clear about what you're doing. But if you're not, which is 99% of people, 99% of Americans are overwhelmed and just trying to get through the day. And so if that's your situation and you're going to be eating fast food and junk food and you're going to try and lose weight, you're making it way harder. It's like alcohol. You say, oh, can I drink and lose weight? Yeah, of course you can. But it's a lot harder because when you drink, most people, when they drink, end up eating shittier. Not to mention there's also extra calories in the alcohol. But the bigger issue is your mindset when you've had a few drinks. How's your eating after having a few drinks? Most people's eating choices take a dip when they start drinking. So you should think of fast food similar to that in that sense. Can you do it? Yeah, technically. And there's the fucking guy, he's some professor, and he lost a bunch of weight doing McDonald's. And everyone's like, oh, well, look, you can eat anything. And again, I get it, but it's like, it just reveals a complete and total ignorance of weight anyways, but it's just calories. So yeah, if you're a fucking guy who wants to go out there and prove a point, yeah, you can lose weight eating anything. Oh, look at me. Oh, a Snickers bar. I can't even believe that doesn't exist. I mean, look at Subway. Now, again, Subway compared to other stuff is healthier. Everything's on a spectrum. But again, the ridiculousness, the idiocracy of living in a time when loaves of bread are sold as weight loss mechanisms just shows you the power of marketing. And it's a commentary as well on how unhealthy and bad the food is. But it's a crazy world we live in. So yeah, Vicky says, not all calories are created equal. Absolutely. I think for the average person, reducing the junk food stuff and the fast food stuff and replacing it more with actual real food, that's going to support most people tremendously with their weight loss and their weight mastery long term, I think. Yeah. So yeah, but technically, and I need to say technically, right? Because again, yeah, there could be a Snickers diet and all you do is eat Snickers bars all day and lose weight. Yeah, absolutely. You could do that for a little while, So again, it's always calories, always ultimately calories in a technical sense. But then we got to zoom out a little bit and say, okay, but in a real sense, if I just eat a Snickers bar, or 5 of them, I don't know how many calories in a Snickers bar, like 270. So if I eat 6 Snickers bars a day or 5 Snickers bars a day, I'm losing weight, Jim. Yeah, great. But can you give me a call next month and let me know how you're doing? So, again, it's the long-term thing. So yeah, that fucking guy, oh, I'm going to eat McDonald's every day. I'm going to lose weight. Okay, great. Let me know. Can you give me a call next year and let me know how it's going? Can you? That's what I want to know. So I don't know where that guy ended up. But again, it's shit like that just confuses people. So Julie said, I've been focusing mainly on feeling good after eating. Thanks to you. Eating healthier makes me feel so much better. Yeah, exactly. Eating better. See, I know. No, I know calories, Katie. I was thinking that. I know calories of stuff. So I'm very aware of calories in food in terms of calorie densities of foods. So I'm extremely aware of calorie density levels of foods, but I am not aware of like what I consume calorie wise. I've never counted calories ever. I did last week for the first time and it didn't feel good. Yeah, 280. That's why I was thinking it was 270. But I do pay attention to calories of stuff because it's shocking. Again, it's shocking. And a lot of people think about that. Again, it's the big lie The Snickers ad is a great example of this, because what's the whole Snickers advertising? I don't know if it's still, but remember the Snickers ad was always based on it really satisfies. I can tell you what, that a Snickers bar doesn't satisfy your hunger at all. I can let you know that. It triggers your hunger. That commercial should say Snickers makes you really hungry. Snickers makes you crave a lot of shit, and then they get these witty, funny commercials where you start thinking about someone turning into Joe Pesci, and it's funny. I think it's funny. I get it. But on the other side, you think about how weight-related issues are the number one cause of preventable death in our country. And I think my dad died of a heart attack because he was obese and couldn't change his eating. And then I stopped laughing. I don't think it's as funny. Sorry to bring everyone down. But again, we're fucking hypnotized, dazzled by entertainment and bullshit, and we're eating ourselves to death. That's how most people are going to kill themselves unnecessarily in this country. So sorry to bum everyone out, but that's fucking truth, So again, I get the humor of the ad, and then it's followed up very quickly by the reality of the situation. And I stop laughing and don't think it's as funny or persuasive. So anyways, so Paula says eating chocolate cake makes me want more. Yeah, of course. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why that is. And even chocolate cake is better. I would eat a chocolate cake. I would choose before I would choose a candy bar, because candy bars are even worse than a real chocolate cake. That fast food stuff, junk food stuff, man, it's bad news. Julie says processed food, even deli meats and cheeses, are full of sodium and make you feel crappy too. Yeah, absolutely. We're surrounded by bullshit food stuff our entire lives, and it's the challenge of your life. I will let you know. If you've lived in America your whole life, the challenge of your life is to realize that you're surrounded by bullshit food stuff and you do not even know what real food is. It's a fucking journey that you have to commit to. I'm still learning about it. We're so far removed from real food. And the craziest part is it's all happened in a generation or two. That's the craziest part. I think about this all the time. We've been eating natural foods our entire history on the earth. And in the last 50 to 75 years, it's completely been wiped out. And our whole memory of it has been wiped out. It's nuts. And shows up. Joyce says, what kind of food should we eat? I mean, the kind of food you should be eating is whole natural foods. Now, again, I'm not saying never eating junk food stuff, fast food stuff. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you want to start shifting the balance over to the majority of foods you're putting into your body. Now, I know I'm a buzzkill. I'm Captain Buzzkill. I get that. I don't give a fuck. They used to always hate. They used to have like Ralph Nader. Remember that guy? They used to hate him. I remember my mom used to make fun of him. And he was a Poindexter dude who just like wanted to make things safer. He's like responsible for making cars safer. And he got into food a little bit, but it's just, we live in the craziest world where if I talk about food, I know I'm an outlier. I know I'm a buzzkill. I know that, but that's tough shit. I mean, whatever, get the whole fucking world, just go zone out if you don't like hearing this stuff. You know what I mean? Put your head back in the sand, but this message needs to get out a little bit. You know what I mean? And so, I think it's the truth. So yeah, so you slowly and systematically start nudging yourself over towards healthier, whole natural foods. And I would suggest the best strategy to start doing is replacing whatever you typically eat for breakfast. You start making it healthier and more natural. Then you start working on your lunch. Then you start working on your dinner, and you slowly and systematically start nudging it over to healthier, whole natural foods. What are whole natural foods? Things that grow on the ground. Things you look at and you're like, oh yeah, grows. That's what it is. Fruits, vegetables, greens, beans, whole grains, meat, all these things, and the more of these you make your diet around these things, the higher percentage of your diet is those things. You start feeling better. You start getting addicted to feeling better. Your weight will probably go down, and yeah, it's all better. He died. Who? Nader died? Did he? Yeah. Reading food labels is illuminating. Yes. You got to read food labels. Absolutely. Is it normal to get mad when people around you lose weight? No, I don't think I don't think it's abnormal. I think it is normal. I think it's completely normal that if something in your life you keep trying to do and you're unsuccessful with it, and all of a sudden someone does it. I think it's natural to feel jealous and angry that they're doing it and you can't do it. So is it right? No, sure, it's not right. You should be happy for them and bullshit, right? But let's be honest, we're humans, and I think it's normal. I think it's completely normal to get mad when someone is able to accomplish something that you haven't been able to. So maybe I'm a petty person. I don't know, but that's how I'd respond. Now I would recognize that and I would work to, again, let it go, Jim. It's not a big deal and be happy for him. At least say it. And then let's just focus on the main story, which is you. Let's get the results you want. So no, I think Casey, it's completely normal and natural to get upset when people get the results that you're trying to achieve unsuccessfully. That's what I think. Nader's a throwback. That is a throwback, right? That guy ran for president at one time. Like you said, nobody paid attention to the Surgeon General report in the mid-60s either. Yeah. It takes a long time for people to pay attention or wake up. It takes a long time, but it's also, we don't even know if people are ever going to wake up from this, to be honest. I mean, it's brand new. This is brand new. So I don't know where things are going to go in terms of this stuff. It's all, we're still on the upswing. We're still rocketing towards, I seen a pretty legitimate article about the obesity overweight rates in America aiming right towards 90% within the next 10 years. So I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm pissing in the wind by doing this a lot of times, you know what I mean? But I don't care because it's like, again, the people I help, I'm happy to this is what I love doing. But it's no match for the machine. So again, when you see the numbers, I got to get that. I'm going to print that out. You know what I'm going to do? The old Post-it notes are back. I just cleared them all off my desk too. And here I am already starting with the Post-it notes. I'm up to 6 of them already, but I got to get the obesity map printed and I'm going to show it every day because it's jaw dropping. And I think when you see the obesity maps over the last 50 years, you know what they say, a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? I think when you see that, it puts things into more perspective. You have to understand, and this isn't a knock on you. I'm not knocking you. I'm in the exact same boat. We're constantly put into trances, so we're unaware of the real reality of what we're dealing with. And food is ground central to that, so yeah. Donna says, I stopped eating after 6 p.m. after listening to you. It's only been a week, but it makes me happy. Yes, Donna, great job. Great job. Proud of you. And that's what I mean. Like, that's the big difference between dieting and Program Yourself Thin is that here we're looking to make comfortable changes. Let me work on eating. I'm going to stop eating at 6, see how that goes. And we're doing it not just to lose weight for some future goal. We're doing it in focusing on the short-term benefits. So Donna feels happy. When's the last time you felt happy counting calories, happy on keto? You were happy you lost weight. I won't disagree with you when you're losing weight, that made you happy. But I'm talking about the actual behavior. When is the last time you did a diet behavior and the behavior itself made you happy? And you're going to be hard pressed, most likely, to find an answer to that. So great job, Don. I'm super proud of you. I love that. That makes me so happy. So thank you for sharing that. And keep it going. Keep it going. That's just the first step of many. You can be way happier. That's what I want you to keep in mind. Okay, Nader he's 90 years old and still alive and well. That's awesome. Okay. Yeah. Oh, the McDonald's diet guy died. Oh, I got you. No, that was Morgan Spurlock, and he did Supersize Me. So he was not the guy I was referring to. Although, did the other guy die? The other guy was a college professor, and Morgan Spurlock just ate McDonald's for like a month or two or whatever, and a lot of shit was bad number wise. Although, as I found out after he passed away, he had an alcohol problem. So, again, I think fast food stuff's awful. However, I don't know how scientific a lot of those numbers work since he was dealing with another pretty intense health issue. Regardless, that's not what I was talking about. The other guy I was talking about, I forget his name. Let's find his name real quick. Let's see what he's up to. Professor who lost weight eating McDonald's. John Cisna, former science teacher, ate only meals from McDonald's totaling 2,000 calories a day and walked 45 minutes a day, and he lost 60 pounds. So, yeah. So I don't know where he's at now, and I don't really care. But again, stuff like that I find to be, on one hand, I like it because, again, it just proves that it really comes down to calories. What I don't like about it, that's very diety, is it's just about the weight loss he achieved. And so, again, when you lose weight, folks, your health markers are typically going to start to improve because of the weight loss. So the initial weight loss and the initial improvement in numbers is not really reflective of a healthy way of being. So again, a lot of people go on keto and they might lose weight. Now, oh, my health numbers are looking great. Well, that's not because you're on keto. It's because you lost weight. And you will not know the health number and the health impacts for a little while. So, yeah. What's up, Kelly? I feel good about what I've been eating, but been struggling to eat less and get results. Yeah, that's okay, Kelly. I get it. I would say to you real quick, I'm noticing a pattern, myself included, that this has been a tough winter. I've noticed that as a pattern. And I forget where you live, Kelly. So I don't know if you're dealing with weather, but I've noticed a lot of my clients they're surviving and getting through January, February, myself included. And so that's normal and natural. So again, that's kind of what I'm talking about, like the dip, the sustained dip. You're going to have those, folks. You're never going to get to a place where you never have a dip in your, let me flip it around. You're never going to have a life where you never overeat, where you never get off track. You never. You're always going to sometimes get off track. Yeah, okay, yeah. So you're in Virginia. All right. Now it's snowing down there. Okay. So again, that shit's relative, but I get it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to imagine, Kelly, if you looked at the last month, 2 months, that I bet it's been stressful for you. And I've noticed a lot of people, it's the weather, it's, the state of the world sometimes is living in America. We're just all under constant stress. And a lot of times it kind of gets this way. But we just have to ride these things out sometimes. So for me, I have a yearly perspective on things. And a lot of times, January and February, I'm just kind of I'm kind of holding ground. And as March, April, May start coming around, then so for example, give it specific numbers over the holidays and vacation, which ended up being about 3 weeks for me, about 2 weeks of kind of holiday mode. And then I went away for a week. And during that time, I put 7 pounds on. And since then, now, I would say 6 weeks later, I'm back on track. I dropped 2 pounds, but I'm still up 5 pounds. But I'm fine with that because I realize I've had it's been a tough 6 weeks for me for a number of reasons. And I recognize that and I honor it. And I know that my eating hasn't been as good as it normally is. And my just things haven't been as good as they normally are. And I'm okay with that. That's what I'm trying to tell you all. Like, and I share this with you because I know as a dieter, you're like, what are you talking about? It's like, do not compute, because you're all or nothing. You're either being perfect or you're not doing anything. So the idea that you're going to ride out times when you're not doing great, but you're not doing nothing either. Again, in Program Yourself, then we call this all or something as a solution, as an alternative to being all or nothing. And so a lot of times what you're going to find when you start getting into real weight mastery is about what you do during the something times more than anything else. Because you're not going to be fucking all the time. And I know as a dieter, you've convinced yourself that the answer for you, the solution for you as a dieter is that one magical Monday, you're going to wake up and you're just going to eat perfect. One magical Monday is going to show up and now I'm just following my keto plan perfectly. I'm perfectly intermittent fasting perfectly. And you have this, again, it's called the planning fallacy. It's a cognitive bias. And the diet industry exploits this. And so in your mind, you think you're just waiting for that day to show up where you're perfect. And if you look back over the last 30 years, you're going to notice there's been a whole lot of waiting when you're not doing anything and you're losing ground, putting weight on, digging yourself in a hole. So in Program Yourself, then we learn how to manage that. In Program Yourself, then there's no perfect times. We're constantly, it's like surfing. You're constantly adjusting to the situations. And my last 6 weeks have been tough. My eating's not as good as it normally is. I'm okay with that. So I haven't been losing weight. I'm still living at a 5-pound higher weight than I was 4 months ago, but I'm fine with it because I know that's going to change and I know I'll get right back on. So I can manage it without fucking losing my mind like a dieter. Dieters are so like emotionally, mentally unstable, right? It's like the second that the scale goes, I can start stopping myself. I just stop myself. I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to eat. And then you do that, and then you eat everything in sight for the week. So you do that for a week, and then you eat everything in sight for the next 4 months. It fucking makes no sense. When you zoom out and look at the pattern, it's goofy to the extreme. But you're so zoomed in as a dieter, you can't see, you know what I mean? You can't make the forest for the trees. You just can't see the ridiculousness of it. And you're surrounded by it. Not only is it you doing, but everyone around you is doing and reinforcing the exact same mindset, which is literally the reason I'm on here every day, to try and snap you the fuck out of it. Like, as a hypnotist, I thought I was going to make my living hypnotizing people, not fucking dehypnotizing you. So, but that's what I'm here for. Casey says, is it true that in America there's no local shops with fresh food? Oops. Is it true that in America there's no local shops with fresh food and people buy in bulk? Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I'm Irish. I really have no clue. No, it's totally true. I mean, America, you know, I love America, by the way, but in some ways, America's another place. Well, but, and when it comes to the food, it's absolutely, I mean, in America, we're raised by corporations. We've all been raised by corporations. Can't argue with that. And when it comes to our food, we've been literally trained how to eat by corporations that don't give a fuck about our health. By the way, the food companies are the cigarette companies, to just make it as crystal clear as I possibly can. And I find this ironic because most of you have very warm, fuzzy feelings for the food companies. But literally, the food companies are the cigarette companies. Nabisco and RJR Reynolds are literally merged together. They're the same company. The parent company of Kraft and General Foods is Philip Morris. So it's food cigarettes, if that makes sense. And so that's why in America, yeah, no, there are no local shops with fresh food other than co-ops. If you're lucky enough to live near a co-op, then you can get fresh food, meaning my definition of fresh food is food that's grown somewhat locally by a responsible farmer. So yeah, most people have no access to that. And the best thing you're going to get now, no, don't get me wrong. We still live in the Garden of Eden in this sense that you can walk in any grocery store and it's just full of produce. But most people aren't trained to want to eat produce. And so they find produce to be gross. And on top of that, there's a lot of evidence that eating junk food stuff, fast food stuff repels you from natural foods. How it works exactly, we don't know. But studies have shown this effect. And you felt this effect. The more fast food stuff you eat, the more junk food stuff you eat, the less you want to eat natural food, unless you enjoy it. That's the weird part. Probably has to do with dopamine. I don't know, but that's a real effect, you know? John says plateaus kind of feels bad, like you're stuck and it sucks. Yeah, but I mean, John, the other side is that ultimately, you know, we're looking to get to a plateau. So again, you dieters, here's the thing. What you've done is you've been conditioned to trade the excitement of the food, the pleasure of the food, for the excitement and pleasure of the scale going down. That's why most dieters, once they're down at their goal weight, put the weight back on. That's a big part of it. Is it now? What are you looking forward to? You can't look forward to the food anymore. And now you can't look forward to the scale going down. That's so exciting. So where's your excitement coming from? You know? So most people struggle to be in a plateau, and they struggle when they're at their goal weight because that's a plateau. Let it be known. I mean, I think, John, you're 5 or 10 pounds away from your goal weight. I got to tell you, not much is that much different 5 pounds lighter. I'm 5 pounds away from my goal. I wouldn't even know. If I didn't have a scale, I wouldn't fucking be able to tell the difference if I'm 5 pounds heavier or lighter. I have no way of knowing. I have no intuitive sense. Now, it's relative. You know what I mean? Like, you know, what your weight is, that becomes more noticeable, less noticeable, depending on what your weight is. I get that. But again, this idea that, oh, I'm 10 pounds above my goal weight. Oh my God, I'm stuck at this weight. And, I can't tell you the number of people that are lost 40 pounds. They want to lose 20 more. And they're just so miserable that they're not losing more weight right now. It's like, how about you just enjoy the 40-pound weight loss for a little bit? Again, I don't know. I mean, most people have gotten to their goal weight at some point in their life. I mean, everyone's at their goal weight at one point. Okay. But regardless, you went past that. And then most people have gotten back down to that at some point, once or twice at least. And as great it is to be at your goal weight, it's not like this magical thing, like all your problems in life are gone. I think that's really important for y'all to understand, because I think you dieters, another piece of the dieting marketing puzzle is false hope syndrome. And it's the idea that at your goal weight, once you lose the weight, everything's gonna be amazing. You've been sold this fucking fairy tale your whole life. And I promise you it's affecting you. I promise you. And the reality is you get to your goal weight and guess what? Life's still waiting, but it's bullshit. I'm at my goal weight, been at the same weight for 30 years, one blip 12 years ago. It's a whole decades of bullshit I had to deal with. Lots of good stuff too, right? But lots of stress and bullshit and frustration and sadness and all the stuff that comes regardless. And I think that, just wanting to lose weight and wanting to get your goal weight, it takes more than that. Kelly says, I'm hanging in there. If I keep doing the next right thing, I know the results will eventually come. Yeah, I'm just practicing maintenance right now. Yeah, exactly. And it's not just practicing maintenance to stay at your goal weight. The other side of that, Kelly, is to practice your processes and keep optimizing them. That's the secret. You understand, folks? Your weight is a reflection of your behavior. So you can't lose weight. There's no such thing as you losing weight. It's semantically ill-formed. You can't actually lose weight, because the verb there implies that you're going to lose the weight. You can't actively lose the weight short of chopping a body part off. What you can do actively, what you can actually do, is you can make different food choices. You can have different lifestyle choices. And over time, your weight goes down magically. That's a more accurate description of what's going on here. You cannot lose weight, though. Again, it's semantically ill-formed. You can make better food choices. So the more you focus on making better food choices, the more you're magically going to notice that your weight starts to go down. So we're not technically practicing maintenance, like just maintaining our weight. We're always practicing optimizing the processes, the eating, the lifestyle, the mindset that end up creating the weight. I hope that makes sense, right? So a bit of a reframe. Yeah, keep improving the next right thing. Exactly. So we keep focusing on the process, because that's the only thing you have control or influence over, folks. You do not control the weight loss process. That happens in some magical way that you don't even know. As much as you all think about weight loss, which is 24 hours a day, I bet most of you don't even know how you actually the physiological process of losing weight. How do you think you actually lose weight? Do you know? You actually exhale it, the majority of it. So again, and you don't have to know that. What you have to understand is that it's the things you're putting in your mouth every day. That's what's leading to the weight. And so the more you get fixated on the strategies and structures and plans you have to influence your eating, you're in a secondary way controlling your weight. You can't directly control your weight. Short liposuction, chopping a leg off. That's it. Again, your weight is a reflection of what you're eating. You can control the eating, which will show up in the reflection. Yeah, good. I'm glad that helps, Kelly. Shireen says he ate McDonald's. Are we talking Big Mac or salads? Yeah, you could eat Big Macs. You could eat Big Macs all day. If you only eat 2,000, if you eat 3,000 calories regularly and you start going to McDonald's and just get Big Macs and fries, but to 2,000 calories, you'll lose weight. So, yeah, we're in a freaking winter vortex, is right. It is cold up here, like the tundra. It's What's up, Joan? Joan says Nader taught me about the advertising industry. Yep. Captain Buzzkill. Yeah. Captain Reality. That's a better one, I suppose. Shreen says Kellogg sends healthier versions of their sugar cereals to the EU and Canada, but makes cereals with dyes and additives for US stores. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's crazy. You know, we live in a super bubble, folks, in America, a super bubble. And yeah, the food alone, you know, in Europe, they demand healthier food and they get it. And here we just don't even realize it. But again, I don't know, crazy on you, but yeah, it's a true story. Yeah. Don says I'm up 3-0 stress. Good. Yeah, it really doesn't matter. Katie says, what? Jim, we can buy fresh food in America. We can buy fresh food in America. So I want to make that crystal clear. We can, but it's not promoted and it's not the easiest thing. And it's next to a lot of stuff that's unhealthy. And it's not the same as in other countries. In other countries, there's just fresher food choices around you. So yes, you can buy fresh food. But even the fresh food is not necessary. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, again, there's a spectrum of fresh, but I don't want to get to that part right now. He said, I mean, fresh food. I meant the huge portions that would last my house about 6 months. Oh, yeah. You mean like bulk buying? Yeah. That's a huge thing we do. Yeah. Bulk buying is crazy. And bulk buying, again, psychologically, I don't know if you all know this. There's a great, I'm forgetting his name now. I know his last name's Wansink. I'm forgetting his first name, but he's a Cornell Food Lab professor, and he does all sorts of experiments and on different food. But one of the more interesting things, and this was fascinating because a couple of years ago, the food industry started creating small packages of foods. And that was the first thing that did seem to cause people to consume less. And what I found interesting about that was the flip side of that now we have big box stores. And I was thinking about that because I say like, my kid likes to eat Cheez-Its. And so I was like, well, I could go and get, I could pay probably a third less if I got them from the big box store. But would I be paying a third less than just getting them at the supermarket and paying more for them, a smaller box even? I don't believe so, because I think if I got the bigger box and if I got 3 of the bigger boxes, I think he's going to eat a lot more of them. And at the end of the day, it'll probably end up being the same amount of money. So I do not believe in, I get a big container of lettuce. I get a giant bag of carrots. I get my vegetables and fruits, some of them, my bag of apples, a giant bag of apples from the big box store, but I don't buy much of their packaged foods because I know that those big packaged deals are not really deals. They're deals to get you to eat a lot more of that food. So the savings kind of disappear with the increased consumption. Now, is that everyone? No, obviously. But I think for a lot of people, when there's bigger containers, when there's more of it around, you're going to eat more of it. And the savings that you thought you got start to fade away. That's what I think. He says, finally understanding the weight mastery is a lifelong process practice. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but your arteries might get clogged up. Yeah, eating a Big Mac every day. I don't think it's a good idea because I believe high levels of saturated fat are bad for your heart. I know some people don't believe that. I do. And I don't think that eating that stuff would be good for your health. So could you lose weight on it though? Yeah. And would it initially be good for your health? Sure. If you go from consuming 3,000 calories a day to 2,000 and you keep it at 2,000, but it's all McDonald's food, initially you're going to lose weight. Initially your health markers are going to look better. But I think if you subsist on that 2,000 calories a day of McDonald's food long-term, I think you're really putting yourself at risk for a lot more health issues is what I believe. And I know some people do not believe that. And that's fine. Because we do still got to have our choices. Yeah, I do not buy bulk. Nope, no Costco here. Yeah, I got BJ's and I will go to BJ's and I use it. But again, it's you got to be careful because again, they trick you with the allure of savings, but a lot of times those savings dissipate because when you have that shit available, you eat more of it. Again, not always, but just something to keep in mind. So, yeah. All right, everyone. Well, this was great as usual. You guys are awesome. I appreciate all the comments, questions. Thank you very much for those. And again, if you're not in my world, click the link in my bio. Go get the hypnosis session. It's free. It's called The New Thin Me. Watch the video I made for you. It'll kind of lay out the whole system, give you a different way to approach your weight, and hopefully live your goal way for the rest of your life. And this is a podcast, so if you ever want to listen to it, it's Program Yourself Thin. I'm here every Monday through Friday at noon. So if you have any questions, pop in here and ask them. Happy to answer them as best I can. And yeah, all right. Have a super day. We'll talk soon. Bye, everyone.